We're still talking about expectations for the new government. Pascal Odibo joins us. He's the Group Country Director, Jeff and O'Brien, as well as an economic and financial analyst. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Let's start with so many other, views from this particular administration and looking at what policies they have so far. For them, they have a transformation agenda which they have continued so far and is still on course. A couple of them have been working pretty well. And for an incoming administration, if you have some of these that have been working fantastically well, what do you do? Do you sustain or do you abort and have a fresh one? Let's talk about the agenda setting vis-a-vis what is working for this present administration.
Thank you. Now, let me start by saying that I think political power is for 90% of the time is for economic emancipation. If you get power and you don't know what to do with power, then you become a danger to the society. And so when PDP became the ruling party in 1999, right? One of the things and cardinal things they proved to Nigerians was that they wanted to divest themselves from running what they call SOEs, state-owned enterprises. Because this was the norm then as it were, and up to now. And so the Council for Privatization was set up, the BPE, Bureau of Public Enterprises was set up. And you remember the guy who is now the incoming governor of Kaduna. By the way, I'm looking forward to the makeover that will happen in Kaduna State.
Well, he said you should pity him, not congratulate him.
But honestly, that's the mindset. That's the mindset of a servant, because the reward for hard work is more work. I'm sure. I thank God he's looking at it from that perspective because there's a lot of work to do there. But you can be sure after 4 years, Kaduna will have a makeover. And let me go back to what I was trying to say. That he came in and began to sell state-owned enterprises. I remember somebody engaged him then and said they were selling the national patrimony. And he said, listen, if you don't want this kind of model, go to the polls, win the election, and change the model. As for now, his principal has asked him to sell state-owned enterprises for a reason. State-run, public-run enterprises by public institutions are not efficient. So what they did was use that model, and that's what you saw by seeing the telecommunication space opened up. That's what you saw by seeing the ports, the transport opened up except railway. That's what you started seeing things like all the various privatization that happened was as a result of that strategic decision. So that's why my take here is that as we look forward to May 29, we want to begin to hear those strategic decisions, policies that will have contingent influence on how we live for the next 4 years.
Hold on, you want to hear them before May 29?
Listen, I was thinking that by now we'll start hearing appointments of key positions. This may sound radical and disruptive.
A nomination.
I'm telling you, disruptive.
Isn't that jumping the gun?
Let me tell you something. It is clear, it is settled. The woman has even told you, the man has told you that they are started living as a rock. All attention is on, okay, so you should call him Mohammed Buhari and APC. Everything they've been talking about in opposition, they need to begin to implement it. In fact, in some climes, these guys have entered what they call a lame duck season. Even as much as they try to make sure, give us the impression they're still there, we know where they're going. So what we want is a situation where you begin to hold grip so that you can run hitting their tires on the road.
If we begin to do that, are you not bothered about the fact that the current administration might be feeling like you want to rush us out?
And so what? We've taken a vote of, listen, I think PDP people they don't seem to get it. There was an election, and these guys, Nigerians have taken a decision, whether you voted for them or not. There is a new kid on the block. Thank you for the 4 years or 6 years or 8 years. But,
Mr.
yeah, you don't understand what I'm saying. This may sound disruptive. It may sound disruptive. But if you are going ahead to do what you used to do and expect a different result, then this is a definition of insanity. Let's do something radical. Let's begin to put the heat on the board. Listen, you campaign spiritedly on change. We want to say, excuse me. Okay. I don't want anybody dampening my hopes. don't manage my expectations. You know, you're on tape. You're on the print. You said a lot of things. And listen, this is not 1999. There's a lot of people that have tips of what they said, what they're going to do, and we are praying for them. By the way, they need to just know that Nigerians are looking. No, but I don't want us to concentrate on whether they do it now or not. If they don't do it, it doesn't matter.
Let's move on here. There are different aspects of the society. Yes, the APC preached change, and now they've been given the opportunity by the Nigerian voters. Yeah. All right. So let's look at it. You're an economist. So let's look at the economy. What are the things you would expect to see? Let's just assume that what they're doing is sitting back to outline the things they're going to do, so that come May 29, but what are the things you'd expect to see?
I'm not an economist, but I'm a business analyst and a business consultant. Now let me explain this to you. I just started by saying about privatization. That's an economic policy. It's an agenda. That is, everybody and anybody that is sitting on any state-owned enterprise will be aware that clearly, it's a matter of time that a private sector will come in and take it over. Now, there are pros and cons as to that kind of model. That's the point. Let me give you an instance. Nigeria, the railway, I think there's a bill now trying to deal with the fact that the railway is under the exclusive list, which means that it is only something that has to fall under the federal government purview. I'm looking for, I'm hoping, I'm not looking for it now, I'm hoping that the legislatures and the executive that will be set up by the APC will collectively champion, if they say they will follow through with this kind of market-responsive, market-driven economy. Okay, begin to champion the unbundling of grip of government on business. They could come in and say, listen guys, we want to play models. There are places like Dubai where government has very strong control on the economy. But they have brought efficiency by hiring the best. So whichever way you want to go, you need to start telling us now how you want to proceed. We want to begin to see the cloud like the arm of a man in the heavens. That's the point I'm making.
The thing here is this: I'm just a tad worried because constitutionally, the Constitution must be respected. The way we've decided to plan our election year and our calendar is such that by May 29, that's when a new government takes over. You can call this a lame duck period for an administration, but it doesn't make it any less powerful. The powers vested in the president and commander-in-chief do not change only and simply because he lost elections. He still remains president till May 29. And this would seem like a very tricky period for both parties to handle, because it's never happened that, one party is handing over power to another party. How would you say that we've managed this period so far, from the elections when the results were decided down to this transition period? I mean, today is we're inching closer and closer to May 29, but how would you say we've managed it so far?
They have tried to manage it, but what the feelers we are getting in is there's a lot of discordant tunes. APC have set up, the incoming government, let me use the word incoming government, has set up their own transition government, this transition committee. The federal government has also set up their own transition committee. I was thinking that by now they would have been able to harmonize in such a way and in such a manner that we are looking beyond governments here now. We're looking concerning as we are on continuity. And continuity here does not mean you continue the policies. Continuity here means that governance is continued. On the part of the incoming government, I think, just as I said earlier on, they've won the election. Don't explain to us how you won the election, why you won the election, and all those kind of things. I think now is the time to begin to set the agenda. And I think that's what the discussion is about, to begin to set the agenda. Guys, thank you for the opportunity. This and this and this. This is what I will do about employment. This is what I will.
I think now I understand what you're saying, because we don't want any reminders of what we know already. We want
solutions.
Solutions. And you just mentioned employment. Loads of times people have talked about creating jobs, employment for people. Till this very moment, we still haven't been able to know how these jobs can be created.
Good. I am glad you asked this question. Even though I was going to think, I thought I was going to take this a little bit later. Towards the twilight of these administrations, it was, they started doing things like called UN, all those kind of things. I've said severally here that they were throwing monies at problems, and of course, the thing was swallowing it. Or you create, you hire people in the civil service. Of course, you can see now that they can't pay them. Those things are pseudo strategies for employment. They are never sustainable. They are interventions and intercalations into what you call, maybe they know so to do something. If you want to get employ your people, that's why I'm interested in the policy. If you say, no matter what it takes, we will revive the railways between Port Harcourt and Kano, Lagos and Sokoto or Maiduguri. Between this, you're going to have train stations. You're going to have people that are going to man the train station, the trains. There will be a sucking of Nigerians that will work in the train station, just the same way when you privatized, when you opened up the telecommunications space, MTN, Airtel came in, and our children were sucked into this industry, this sector. If you take on the refinery, if you tell us now that we will take out subsidy, and within 2, 3, 4 years, we are going to revive our refineries, and you show how many people will be employed in the refineries, you will see a sustainable 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people will be sucked in those sectors. If you begin massive reconstruction of your roads, it will suck in. These are the things I'm talking about when I'm talking about policies. I just don't want to start telling us how, if you say take on agriculture as a government policy, by the way, I think there are people you need to speak to stay back a little bit, to tell you much more than they've written on the handover notes. It's some of the ministers. Because this thing is not just...
For instance, what ministers? Which ones?
No, but don't do that.
I have to. I mean,
No, let's not sell any minister this morning.